Hello, viewers, subscribers, and those otherwise interested in my channel. Just in with a friend, and we were talking about him going to Paris, and he's disabled in a wheelchair. Reminded me of a trip I made with my husband last summer, last August, and it was all booked, totally perfect. Going on Eurostar, which you can do as a disabled passenger in first class without having to pay first class prices. So probably shouldn't have said that. Other people will do it, and then there won't be room for me. So don't do that. Pretend I didn't say it. And we stayed at a cheap hotel, and in Rue de Magenta, which is near Gardinal. And the plan was I was going on my mobility scooter, so that's how we would get about. We stayed overnight in London by St Pancras, and that all worked amazingly until the next morning. The next morning, I got on my scooter, rode out of the hotel, just about to turn to go towards the Eurostar terminal, and my scooter stopped. So I turned it off, turned it on again. It moved for another 20-30 meters and it stopped. And this just kept happening. So effectively, eventually I had to push the damn thing to the Eurostar terminal, which wasn't far, thankfully. Obviously my husband helped. We got it on the train, but I had a dead scooter. So the entire few days that we spent there were me not using the scooter. So I'm stuck in Paris. Everywhere I wanted to go was now on foot. So I took the decision. I could have taken the decision, okay, we head back, it's a disaster, just cancel it, claim on the insurance, which we could have done. But I decided that no, we'll persist and I'll just take the consequences. So we walked when we had to walk. Mostly we used the metro, which is an absolute disaster. The Parisians do not like giving up seats for disabled people. Even though I had my walking stick, they just let me stand there. And the pain I was in was absolutely huge. I can't understate that enough. It was absolutely huge. Everything hurt, but we did it. We did lots of walking. There was times when I felt like screaming. There was times if I was to sit down, we stopped down opposite Moulin Rouge and had a Starbucks. Yeah, I know, not very French. We did do a lot of other French stuff, but that was just convenient. And I couldn't get up again. I got stuck there. I had to spend ages just sort of working myself up to standing, and then I had about, I don't know, too far to walk back, and I had to keep myself occupied all the time just to get through the pain. But it was a great vacation, a great experience. But I then had, I think it took, when we came back in at some point in August, it was, I think, early October before I was starting to feel okay again. By okay, I mean my normal bad. Prior to that, it was just horrendous pain every day, seizing up and things like that. So that went from August all the way into October. So you can do things with ME, but you just live with the fact that there's consequences. You decide that you're going to push yourself beyond a certain limit. You've got to expect that that limit is going to have the side effects of pain, and it's just not going to be pleasant. But all the experts will tell you to pace yourself, don't push yourself beyond your limits, only do so much each day. And I can see the logic in that. Do you know what? If I wanted to have minimum amount of pain, if I wanted to have minimum amount of brain fog and nausea and all the other side effects that go with this. I'd only spend about an hour each day doing something, and the rest of the time I would be resting. I'd be sitting in an armchair and nicely reclined, or I'd go to bed. But in my opinion, that's not living. And I would rather live in agony than to live in boredom. I mean, living in boredom is waiting to die. And that might be some people's lot. Maybe I've got a high pain threshold, I don't know. I'm not disrespecting those people that live like that, but that's not me. It's just not the way my mind works. Not that my mind works out brilliantly these days, but I am a fighter and I will fight through it. And to me, yeah, you can feel sorry for yourself and you can impose rules on yourself that, well, it's just not worth the risk, is it? But what is the point? Seriously, what is the point? I would rather force myself, go arse over tit, anything just to have that experience, to get a selfie with me and my husband with the Eiffel Tower in the background. It's living, isn't it? And do you know what? That holiday, had my scooter worked, would have been absolutely frigging fantastic. Would have been one of the best trips ever. But no, I'm not going to let adversity standing in the way of adversity, standing in the way of what I want to do, because I insist that I'm going to have a life. And my advice to you is, if you've got the option of suffering like hell afterwards to do something amazing, suffer like hell afterwards. I mean, sod it. At least you could say, well, I know why I'm hurting. Or you can just do nothing all day and hurt like crazy and just say, oh, but my ME is so terrible. Can't do this and I can't do that. And if that could be you. I've known people really low pain thresholds, and you know, I can sympathise with them, but I do think I've got quite a high pain threshold, and I can do it. And I'm also aware of the fact I'm repeating myself a lot, but I just feel passionate about it, that I've still got some really good experiences of what I've enabled myself to do. That particular one was an absolute disaster. Most of the time it works. Mobility scooters work. It was a freak thing that went wrong with a scooter. It couldn't have been predicted. It was actually a simple fix. If I'd had the right part, I could have fixed it in 5 minutes. You live and learn. So my advice is, if you can, live your life. Make it worth doing. Make it worth experiencing something in life, because if you don't, you're just going to feel miserable and you're just going to feel bitter with the world.